We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you a Red Band Red Alert.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I'm going to, okay? That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Live and in stereo. Breaking news. This is the first ever installment of Red Band Red Alert. If you're listening to this, you'll notice it's not Friday, our regularly scheduled release, because this was urgent.
This is a drop everything.
Yeah.
And turn on the mics, baby, because it's a Red Band Red Alert.
Yeah. If you've been under a rock for the last 12 hours or at the point that you're listening to this couple days, Will Smith walked on stage at the Oscars and slapped the living shit out of Chris Rock on camera in front of millions of people, in front of the Queen Beyonce herself.
Hollywood's back.
Yeah.
Hollywood is back. And if there was anything that could indicate to us that we're nearing the end of the pandemic, it was this.
Obviously this is all anyone's going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
This is all anyone is already talking about. The meme houses are generating memes faster than the speed of light.
Who are they?
Who are the, you know that they're sitting there watching and they've got a room full of geeks on computers and they're just going.
Yeah.
And they're like, did you get that? Yeah. Screen record that. Send it to me. I got a meme idea.
Boom.
And they're just pushing them out. I saw an I Am Legend meme when he shoots the mannequin and they already replaced the mannequin with Chris Rock. And it's a good, the footage is tracked.
Yeah.
The background is removed. These people are quick.
They're good. They're quick. They're very fucking talented.
Yeah.
They're the kind of people that when the CIA discovers a money launderer and they're like, why don't you come work for us?
Yes.
They're the kind of people that Hollywood needs to go knock on some of their doors and be like, hey, we could use you.
Yeah,
you
absolutely. Yeah. And so anyway, because of that, it almost made me not want to talk about it.
Right.
Because anyone who's everyone is talking about it.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's kind of this is our realm. This is right. We got Will Smith, an actor in the movie business. That's where I want to be, right?
Yes.
We've got Chris Rock, who not only does movies, but stand-up comedy. That's your realm. I mean, this is entertainment. This is what this podcast was based around. So how could we not talk about it?
If there is any moment in the history of Earth, of life, since the Big Bang, that encapsulates what this podcast is about, it is that.
Absolutely.
It is that.
Nothing this big has happened at the Oscars since the La La Land Moonlight mishap. If anyone remembers that.
Yes.
La La Land is announced as the movie, right? The best movie award.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh shit, actually wait, it was Moonlight. Sorry. And Dwayne The Rock Johnson's about to get out of his seat and punch someone in the face. This year, someone did get out of their seat and slap someone in the face.
In a slap. Yeah. And then even before that, there's really nothing that's ever happened that's caused that much of a disturbance at the Oscars since way back in the day when I want to say, don't quote me on this, I believe Marlon Brando won an Oscar, brought up a Native American woman, and John Wayne got a hemorrhoid because at the sight of a Native American woman, John Wayne almost committed a mass shooting.
Yeah. Right.
And so that just goes to show you where Hollywood was at that time.
How far we've come.
We've come a long way.
Sure. So many things to say. I'll just say first and foremost, I mean, look, literally every conversation under the sun is happening right now, from it was staged,
right,
to it's a publicity stunt,
right,
to no, that shit was real, to of course you can't have something like this without people talking about the Illuminati. Immediately it's like no, this was a humiliation sacrifice on his part, and then he won the Oscar afterwards. And if you look, there's triangles behind Will while he's giving his speech, and the Oscars are inside the triangles, and the Oscars go back to Egyptian times. That's already coming out.
The fun stuff.
So you've got every conversation under the sun happening with this right now. And you've got teams. Yeah. Some people are backing Will. Some people are backing Chris. Some people are taking, in my opinion, the smart route and just going, I'm not supposed to say much about this.
Right.
We're gonna, what happened. That's unfortunate. I hope they work it out. and moving on.
And that's what it should be.
Yeah.
But obviously no one can help themselves, including us. I can't help myself.
No, I mean, how do you see something like this and not want to dissect it? Which is really what we're here for.
Absolutely.
We're not here to take sides or say what's right or wrong. It's more like, let's dissect this. And like, I also just want to say, like, Will Smith, one of my heroes in terms of entertainment. Like, the dude has been a huge inspiration to me.
Yep.
Not only in his movies, but outside.
Right.
His philosophy, his mindset on things, right? We've all heard the brick by brick that he talks about. It's just overall, I mean, his life, his legacy, how far he's come, what he's built. He's been a huge inspiration to me and many, many, many others.
Of course.
And so for me, it makes me a little bit sad because I think to myself, what's really unfortunate is that he's been snubbed, in my opinion, at the Oscars for years. He has had groundbreaking performances.
Yeah.
You think about The Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, yeah.
One of the only times I've ever come close to crying at a movie.
Right.
He kills it in that. And that's just one notable. And he's been snubbed at the Oscars for far too long. And so it's unfortunate that now he wins an Oscar. And that's not what it's going to be about.
No.
He will not be remembered for winning an Oscar. It will be remembered as the year he went and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. And it will also be remembered as, or the conversation will not be about him winning an Oscar. It'll be about, should he have his Oscar taken away?
Which is insane. No, he shouldn't.
And that makes me so sad because he's had a hard life.
Right.
He's had a really hard past couple years. To say the least, right? That is underselling it.
he's had a rough go.
Yeah.
Ever since After Earth, it's all been downhill. Until now, but it's been a still rough go.
Yes. And anyway, you see something like this happen, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Like, this had to happen on the year that he wins the Oscar. Oh.
Right.
But then you also, on the other hand, you want to talk about Chris Rock and the class act. I mean, he took that slap like a champ.
He didn't even. Okay, so Will Smith is walking, beelining towards him, and he didn't really give any indications that that's what he was going to do. But yeah, Chris Rock didn't even flinch.
No.
Which is pretty admirable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, put yourself in Chris Rock's shoes. You're on the Oscars stage in front of all these glamorous celebrities, millions and millions of people watching at home.
Right.
You got to read your teleprompter. You've got the pressures of being a comedian on stage anyway, as it is. You don't want your jokes to fall flat.
Right.
The blinding lights, the heat from the suit, the heat from all the body heat. You're on a stage, a lot of pressure. You deliver a joke, you're getting some laughs. All of a sudden, a tall, dark, and handsome figure emerges from the shadows of the crowd, and it's Will Smith. And you're a comedian, and he's a comedian himself. And you're thinking, oh, Will's going to come out and play a little thing out with me. And all of a sudden, a giant-ass hand is swinging in pursuing your happiness as it wipes you off the face of the earth for a second. And in that moment, you're like, oh. And you see it on his face. You see those exact
yeah.
And you're probably, if you're him, you're probably still processing like, did that just happen? Mm-hmm. Are we doing a thing? Is this a bit?
Right.
And like, I mean, to handle it the way he handled it, because I'm sure the first thing you want to do in that situation, I would anyway, is I would want to get the fuck off that stage.
Yeah.
I want to get out. I want to go collect myself, process what just happened. But he has to stand there, still deliver the rest of his monologue, including some jokes. He still had a couple jokes he had to deliver after that.
In a tense room and you could just feel it in the video. You could feel the crowd kind of,
Yeah. Lupita Nyong'o is like, yo.
Shout out to her. She gave, it's not, if we're talking about memes, she was immediately put in the position to be part of the reaction meme, and she delivered as she always does.
Which is why she's at the Oscars every year pretty much now. Because she can deliver that quality facial reaction.
She'll give it to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And so he has to do those jokes, still deliver his thing, and stay on stage while those people come up and do their whole thing, and then he has to walk away. And in my opinion, I really commend him. And not that I had any respect issues with Chris Rock, but my respect just went even more up because I think he really handled that about as well as anyone could.
Yeah.
In that situation, truthfully. And you saw he was close. There was that moment where he's like, oh, I could, oh, and he had to bite his tongue. That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Like, I could, looked off stage like, should I? Is anyone going to help me here? No.
Right.
Okay, I'll just read the teleprompter then.
You could definitely feel that with him. You could feel that he wanted to destroy them verbally.
Oh, and he could.
And he could have.
He's got the tongue for it.
He had so much arsenal, but you could also feel that. I mean, it's such a bizarre thing. I mean, you're like, yeah, he has that beautiful creative mind, that quick wit, but at the same time, he's sitting there. He's like, I just was part of one of the craziest moments in television history. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm still in front of this audience, and I still have some jokes to deliver. And this is a very real life experience, because if someone walks up to you and smacks the shit out of you in real life too, you are kind of just sitting there like, the fuck?
Right.
So, and it's just, that's the craziest thing about it is it was a meeting of two different worlds. It was street justice and the elite lifestyle crossing paths.
Yes.
And that's what makes it one of the greatest things to ever have happened of all time.
Wow. Yeah. So I think let's break it down.
Yes, please.
Because I'll be honest, this is what really sucked. This is probably the 1 year in the last 10 years I didn't watch the Oscars. I'm not even joking.
Same, because let's just say that real quick. I was not fucking interested one bit. The Oscars to me they just continuously are not, in my opinion, choosing the movies that deserve to be there. I mean, West Side Story, Don't Look Up. I mean, for me, that does not scream Best Picture to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The last good Oscars was 2018, right before the pandemic, when Parasite won.
Oh, yes. Great movie.
And I just feel like, but on and off over the last decade, it's just, there's been some great moments and there's been some stuff where I'm just like, what are you guys doing? And also maybe this year there wasn't that many good movies either. And that's part of the reason. I mean, there was though. And I guess that's subjective. To me, I'm like, I probably have a list of 10 movies that I feel like should have been on Best Picture, but they wouldn't touch it. You know, they consistently snub, not all the time, but if it doesn't fit their model, they love to snub a good A24 independent film, especially if it's horror. They don't want to give it its due. Yeah, they gave Moonlight. Yeah, they gave Ex Machina. Yeah, whatever. But like, there's good shit out of that distribution studio every year that they continuously overlook.
Yeah.
I don't even know Macbeth didn't even get a Best Picture nom. I mean, I know they got nominated for some stuff, but like, I haven't even seen that movie, and I know it was probably better than all the other fucking movies that were up there. You got a Coen brother doing Macbeth with Denzel Washington? Like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, how is that not the best thing that's come out in the last decade at all? So, yeah, I just had no interest in it. There was not a single interest I had. My girl loves Amy Schumer, but she's soured on me over the last decade, too.
Yeah.
Not really too big on her these days. And then there was all this stuff. They wanted to get Zelensky from the Ukraine onto the Oscars. And I was like, and then it just felt like it was going to be that thing. And Jessica Chastain did not hesitate to do her little Hollywood virtue signaling bullshit. So I just thought it was going to be a lot of that. And I had no interest in it. And I missed out. I should not have judged a book by its cover.
Well, I also approached it like, I guess I haven't seen too many movies now that I'm looking at it, right? Because I don't think I saw anything in the Oscar lineup besides Don't Look Up. And so that's kind of why I was like, well, I haven't even watched a lot of those movies. I don't really know what to be rooting for here. So,
Right.
And so instead we watched a movie, and in the middle of the movie, my dad goes, "Oh shit." And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "I just saw this thing that said Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Oscars." And my initial reaction was like, "Oh, maybe that's like a thing. Like maybe that was part of a stunt, whatever." But I'm also thinking, oh, maybe that was just a tale of something that happened backstage.
Yeah.
I couldn't have dreamed that it was caught on camera live on the stage in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So immediately I hopped on the Twitter sphere, bringing you the breaking news all the time, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, baby.
And I watched the video.
Yeah.
And it's kind of confusing, right? I can see why some people would argue it's staged, or why some people are still kind of speechless about it.
Yeah.
It is a roller coaster of a video if you watch it.
It is.
So we see Chris Rock. He comes out. He has the audience. They're laughing. Everyone's having a good time. And even when he makes his joke about Jada, Will's laughing.
Yeah.
Will is laughing. And we're not groundbreaking here. This is all anyone's talking about.
We know this.
But he's laughing.
He laughed.
And then you cut back to Chris Rock on stage. He continues going, and then he stops and he goes, oh. You cut to a wide, and Will Smith is making his Will Smith beeline right to him. And then he slaps him. But when he slaps him, he does it in a way that we would call stage combat. It's a theatrical slap.
Yes.
It's not a street slap. That's not how you would slap someone in the street.
Right.
It's a very let me use my whole body.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make a big motion. Let me pause and almost like a pose, strike a pose at the end. And then, so I thought initially when I first watched it, I thought he did a thing where he goes to swing and he hits his arm right here. Because that's how I would do it. If I wanted to make
right.
Like I slap someone, you do that and you hit. And that's how we would fake it all the time in high school. And, when we're doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then he walks off. And the other thing too is that if you look at Chris Rock, he almost looks like he's expecting it. Like he's got his hands behind his back and he's almost leaning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, go ahead, give me a slap right there. Like, that's just my impression. I don't know about you, but.
So you saw, you were watching a movie with the family. By the way, what were you guys watching?
Just Like Heaven.
Let's say that again.
Just Like Heaven.
Ah, okay. I don't think
Mark
I've seen
Ruffalo,
that.
Reese Witherspoon. It's heartwarming.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
It's great.
So your dad sees it, you see it, and then you shoot me a text.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there, you're saying, the content gods have blessed us.
Once again.
And I say, what could it be?
Yeah.
And you say simply, Will just slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. Now, I had a weird day yesterday.
Okay.
When you send me that, not only have I had moments, I've had bouts of anxiety throughout the day for a multitude of different reasons. Nothing too crazy, nothing just, my day wasn't wrecked, but it just happened to be an anxious day. At that moment, I was also incredibly hungry. Hungry to the point where you're like, if I don't eat right now, and actually I already had an order at Papa John's that I needed to go pick up.
Hell yes.
I was like so hungry to the point where, now that's just fueling my anxiety too.
Yeah.
And my head I wasn't very present. So I said, Will who? I couldn't imagine. I was like, Chris Rock, but Will? Like, I was like, is this like a friend Will? But why would he slap Chris Rock? I just wasn't all there. And it took me a second, and then I was like, oh, wait, I wonder if he means Will Smith. So then I do myself a quick Google. Okay, this is legit. Mm-hmm. I tell the missus, we got to get on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
I say, we got to, let's hop on the YouTube. It's right there, first video. So, yeah, my kind of deal. So, Chris Rock makes the joke. I didn't get it at first. I mean, I know G.I. Jane. I've seen that movie before.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand it. And obviously my head wasn't super present either at the moment. So I was still just like, what? And I also, The fact that this was a real thing also kind of gave me anxiety because I was like, this is a huge confrontation and I was not in the mood for a confrontation.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I was just like, this is going to be a lot of tension. And I'm like, fuck, like I am not in the place to receive that right now, but this is history. I got to watch this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was pretty thrown back. Like Will laughs. I was expecting Chris Rock to make another intense joke about them. I thought he was going to say something more. So when he's like, Will Smith is walking towards me right now, I was like, whoa, already?
Yeah.
I was kind of confused. I was like, the G.I. Jane, and Will just laughed, and Jada did not look happy though.
No. And
yeah.
Well, and that's really the pivotal moment, right? Is like, he's laughing and it's such a quick change. A matter of seconds, he goes from I'm laughing, you don't see what happens off camera, until he's making a beeline on the stage. So you assume when you watch it, like he's laughing and Jada's doing one of these like, oh, fuck this dude. Like she's rolling her eyes. She's not pissed. She's stone faced, stone cold.
Yeah.
So you can only assume that off camera, she might have just given Will a look like, what are you going to do about this?
Right.
What are we going to do about this?
Which is kind of a problem.
A little bit.
There's no reason that she should be able to incite that in him, which we'll get into it, but
From a look.
yeah.
To look at someone and they just go, oh yeah, I should probably get up there and smack him.
Yeah. There's
I
no
forgot.
way that they should have a cue for that in a public space like that.
But in a matter of seconds, he goes from laughing to walking on the stage, and she doesn't look happy. You got to assume he enjoyed the joke. He might have just laughed off instinct and then went, oh shit, actually, she's kind of mad about that. I guess I should do something.
Now, if we're going to go into the conspiracy space, I'm like, he almost, I got like almost Manchurian Candidate vibes from him. I was like, did Jada press a button? And I'm not talking about an emotional button. I'm talking about a literal button. Does she have an app on her phone that controls Will Smith's mind?
Oh, shit.
And did she press a button that flipped him? Potentially.
Damn. And now we got to be careful because apparently everything about their relationship is open except for jokes about Jada. So we can't really... We got to be because look, I'll be honest, I would love to meet Will and work with Will.
Absolutely.
And I would hate for 10 years from now, I get that chance and Will's like, no, I heard what you said about me on your little fucking podcast.
Peeps. Out of our 30 views, one of them's Will Smith.
Yeah.
Fuck me. I'd be pissed.
I was like, you kidding me?
Will.
He was number 30 and now he's pissed at me.
God damn it. So,
I mean, that goes for any celebrity we talk about on the show. I want to work with people. I don't want them to hate us on the show, but you do make a good point.
yeah.
And I think that's a fair piece of information that like, I just can't imagine a world where like you're at an award show. Someone makes a joke about you that you are upset about.
Sure.
And take offense to, but that all you have to do is look at someone like, really? And they're like, yeah, let's go.
We need another angle because it's like even her reaction didn't scream, I'm going to send my husband to smack him.
Right. Yeah.
It seemed annoyed.
Yeah.
Obviously. She gave the look that anyone gives when a comedian at an award show or a roast takes a jab at the person who may not take a joke so good.
Yeah.
Which is pretty common, but it didn't scream like I'm sending my husband to hit you.
Right. Yeah. Not at all.
What so the funniest thing to me, so as I'm watching it too, I'm like, the way Will Smith walks towards Chris Rock, it is badass, is gangster as fuck. And at the same time, I got a sense that it almost felt like when a middle schooler stands up to a bully for the first time and finally builds up the courage to do something. I also got that sense from it.
Okay.
Like almost like since we were talking about middle school, literally like almost kind of like a shy, nerdy kid who watches too many movies finally decides to stick up to his bully, and you're in the middle of class and the bully does something to the kid, and he finally gets up, and it's almost like, but like in that sense, like it'd be like the kid is doing like a Naruto run towards him, and like you don't know that kid's been practicing like doing backflips off the wall all summer long for this moment.
Yeah.
And so like that's kind of the essence I got from it. And then the thing is, yeah, like Will Smith really hid. You make the most interesting point, because you're right. It was very much a stage combat slap. And he hit it so well, because I was like waiting for it. And you're right. Like when someone goes to hit you, they're usually cock it back.
Yeah.
He disguised it and then was very fast with it.
Oh, it was quick, man.
Very, very
that
fast.
Bad Boys 2 Speed came out.
He's done this before.
He has.
That's the only thing you can assume. And so, you know, I was, and I really wondered if it was fake. I had to rewatch it multiple times.
Yes.
And I think now you explain why I would even think that, because of the stage combat essence of it. Like that motion did look like stage combat. So of course there's a question to it. I wondered. So the second though that I think I realized it was real, the second me and the missus said, "Oh, this is real," is when Will Smith screams back to him, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." And you felt it.
Yes.
You felt it.
And so you're absolutely right. The approach to Chris Rock can only be described as a Will Smith approach. I don't know how to describe it. Like you watch it, you're like, yeah, that's how Will Smith would walk up to somebody. He's got
West
that Will
Philadelphia.
Smith. He's got that Will Smith arm swing, the slight head bobble.
Yeah.
And he does. He goes up with his head down the whole time. Like, I can't believe I'm about to have to do this. I'm sorry, Chris. I have to put you right. I got to set you straight. And he gets up there. He does a stop, plants, and it's quick.
Yeah.
And now we enter into part two, which is where, because as he's walking back, I'm still in my mind thinking like, was this staged? Is this part of an act?
Right.
And you're right. It's not until he starts yelling that you're like, oh, this might be real. And the second time he says it, you really feel that came from the gut. That came from the dark place. And you see that look. He gets that Will Smith. Again, it's a Will Smith face we've seen many times in serious movies when he's trying to hold it together, but still it's very stern. And I mean, he's a great actor.
And I think we stumbled upon something really important about this is exactly what you said. The stage slap. The fact that you can feel it and that it's coming from somewhere, and he's a great actor. And that's to us as the common people understanding that, well, when Will Smith is that angry in a movie, it's coming from a real place.
Yes.
And it's safe to assume that, yeah, sure, you're lost in character, but still, like, you have to understand that if he was going to be that upset in person, it would probably look pretty similar. And that's what we saw. So, of course, people think it's fake, but yeah, like that's how Will Smith would yell at someone in a movie.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that's because that's how Will Smith would yell at someone when he's actually upset. And when he's acting, he's drawing from a real place of rage.
Yes. And I think the other reason we all think this might have been staged initially is because this is the last person you would expect this from.
Well said.
Will motherfucking Smith has always been a class act. He is the type of person that his mindset is like, people are going to shit on you.
Right.
People are going to, he said this in his acceptance speech.
Yeah.
About like, you're expected to just sit there and take it.
Right.
People are going to disrespect you and you're supposed to just sit there and take it. And nobody expected out of anybody. Like Kanye, 100% you expect Kanye to do something like that.
Kanye's pissed he didn't think of it first.
Yeah, Kanye's like, damn, all I did was take the mic back. I should have slapped the shit out of Taylor Swift instead.
Yes.
We don't condone
we don't.
domestic disputes on here. That's Kanye, not
But
us.
we'll talk about it if it happens.
Yeah. So you got Will doing this, and it's the last person you'd expect. He's always been a very well composed, very well under pressure, keeps it together. He's very articulate with his words, as you saw in his acceptance speech. And you just don't expect him to do something like that. Now, doing that as part of a skit, or a bit, absolutely. You expect that. And so I think that's part of too why we're like, oh, this is a thing, because Will wouldn't do this. This is not Will Smith. And
well, that's the thing is in the way that he yelled at Chris Rock when he was off stage, I saw pain. Mm-hmm. I saw a man who has been the butt of some jokes over the last few years. A man who has been globally disrespected, made fun of, called a cuck.
Yep.
Told that your fucking wife is fucking dudes behind your back.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, they're in an open thing now, I think, but I don't know. I don't know the whole story, but that just doesn't feel good for a long time. No. I saw a man who just could not take it anymore.
And that's really what the next thing I think we need to talk about, right? Is like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes.
And I mentioned earlier that he's had a rough couple of years. It's no secret.
Yeah.
But you're right. And that's what I was going to get into. That's the point I was going to make, is that here is someone who has not only gone through the pain, right? I'm sure the pain of having to hear that your wife's been having entanglements is the fun word that she has used, to not only hear that and be hurt by that, I'm sure.
Yes.
Right? Because he loves her.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about he loves her. He is loyal to her, other than when he wasn't loyal to her. But like,
yeah,
you know, they both made the mistakes for sure. But at the end of the day, you know, he just loves her. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And would die for her.
Yeah.
You get that sense.
Of course.
I mean, he very may well have committed career suicide for her on Sunday night.
Absolutely.
But, and I hope not, but to experience that pain, and then on top of that, to be hounded, and all you want to do, I'm sure, is just move past it, and people will not let you.
Yeah.
When that is all anyone can talk to you about, when that is all any comedian jokes about, when that is all any rapper raps about, after a while it takes a toll, to where all it takes is a small boop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The smallest push. This was just definitely the straw. I think that was the thing that just, he snapped. He had enough. And he's probably thinking, okay, I'm tired of talking about me and Jada. Let's talk about me and Chris for a minute. Slap the shit out of him. Like anything to just change the topic of conversation.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. You see pain. Like there is pain there. There is anger. There is frustration. There is just, he's exhausted.
Yeah.
I could tell he is exhausted.
You got to think about it. And it's like, one thing that comes to mind for me is that, you know, at one point in time, I mean, is like tabloids, magazines, newspapers, radio hosts, late night talk show hosts, and comedians. Mm-hmm. Now everyone has a platform. Yeah. So now the common man can use their social media platform to also pile on.
Yes.
Then you got, I imagine, you know, anywhere he goes in public, you got the assholes who are shouting entanglement at him.
Oh, yeah.
Just doing that, right? Everywhere he goes. You know, these kinds of issues, marital issues, relationship issues, are not meant to be public like this. They are not to be meant to be shared on the world stage. It's not how it's supposed to go for a fucking reason. And you got a relentless, ruthless internet age. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And all he needed was a little push. It reminds me of like the Joker talking about Harvey Dent at the end of The Dark Knight. He's like, all he needed was a little push. That was the straw that broke the motherfucking camel's back. And Will slapped Chris with the pain of years of all of this bullshit he's been going through.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
And when you're a family man like Will,
right,
when you are just loyal to your people, to the ones that you love, regardless of how much the ones you love have hurt you, anyone threatening that or talking about that is like, nah, I don't care how much they've hurt me. This is my, you know, my squad, right? My team. This is my family. Like, you go and you defend them. And that was obviously part of his acceptance speech. And so I think he's just had enough, not only hearing about Jada, but right, you got his son, Jaden Smith, who like doesn't want to be a part of the family or something. I don't know the whole story. Probably something with Willow. I mean, like, his family is very in a fragile phase right now.
Absolutely.
And he's probably just really not only trying to hold them together, but just hold it together.
Yeah, like the public scrutiny, I think because it does bring me back to, I made a joke that since After Earth, it's been downhill, but truly, I mean, Will Smith trying to have a relationship with his son did what he knows how to do, make movies.
Yeah.
And it puts his son in a position where he's getting that public assassination, but people are just ruthless, saying horrible things. Imagine like just wanting to have a good time with your son, and you want to do it the way you know how to do it. You want to connect with your son with what you love to do, which is make movies, and you end up putting your son in a position where he gets just ridiculed, and it fucks with him clearly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like I'm sure he's sick of. It's the curse of fame.
Yeah.
That's what people say. You know, it's like we all think we want it, but that's what it looks like. That's what you get when you get it. You know, it's a sacrifice that you have to make. You have to understand, like, my life is never going to be private again. And for the rest of my life, everything I do is going to be under a microscope.
Yeah.
And picked apart like we're doing. Content creators, but that's the name of the game, man. I was watching the show Atlanta. You ever watch Atlanta?
I haven't yet.
There's an episode about it's part of it is like it's about this rapper, and there's an episode about a YouTuber who meets the rapper and then starts using his platform to just like character assassinate him and talk shit about everything he does. And the rapper confronts the content creator. And the content creator's like, hey, man, I'm just trying to eat.
Yeah.
This is just what I do. Like, you're exploiting your situation to make music, and I'm exploiting your situation. And that's just the name of the game. And so you got to understand that when you get into the game, it's like, well, everyone's trying to eat. And you're going to get to eat a little more than me because you're a big fish in the big pond, or, you know, but I'm going to take your scraps and try and turn it into something. And so you think about everyone's trying to do that all the time. And it would really suck, you know, is it great to be the person who has all the fame, fortune, and gets to do everything creatively and artistically you want to do? Yeah, it's amazing. But at the same time, understanding that from here on out till the end of days, you'll never have anonymity ever again. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I mean, it's just going to keep coming now after this, right? You're going to have, wait till SNL gets a hold of this.
Oh, God.
wait till how many rappers are going to do something about, Will and Chris and Will, they're going to put something in a song. It's going to be memes for days to come. Chris Rock will probably get a Netflix special off of this. And,
yes.
So I mean, in a way, he was tired of the scrutiny and he just fueled it. He fueled it more.
He did. And that's the catch-22. It's like, you're on the nose with that. It was a reaction to everything that's already happened. And in a way, he boxed himself in again, even deeper. And that's unfortunate. And it's going to bring more pain. The only thing Will Smith can do, I think, to break out of this is go on an intense inner spiritual journey that allows him he needs to do some Jim Carrey shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he needs to go talk to Jim Carrey.
Right.
And start like doing some detachment from reality stuff where he just starts seeing people walking around as microorganisms in the universe or whatever Jim Carrey said that day.
Yeah.
What I agree with. I love what Jim Carrey does that. But that's the only way. You gotta completely detach yourself from the physical reality.
Well, and I think some cooling off time is a good thing for him, for everything he's gone through.
Yeah.
And obviously cooling off time between him and Chris. From what I understand, this is not the first time Chris has been, made a joke or made comments on them.
Right.
And so I think there might have been a little bit of that too. Like, hey man, I've told you before, don't talk about this, not cool. And there might have been a little bit of that already. Now, there's all the theoreticals too with this, right? It's like, if it hadn't been Chris Rock, would it have been the same outcome? Like if Ricky Gervais was up there telling that same joke, if it was Kevin Hart, if it was Dwayne Johnson,
Not him.
Is Will Smith walking up there still and slapping the shit out of them?
Everyone except Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, right.
I think if it was a woman. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. I mean, like we had 3 female hosts. If any one of them had made the joke, would Jada have gone up there instead?
Right.
You know, like it's an interesting theoretical, and you wonder too if it would have been this big of a deal had it been backstage. And it was just whispers that came out. Like rumor has it, Will slapped confronted Chris Rock backstage and it ended in an altercation.
Right.
Would it be as big of a deal now?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what makes it something. I mean, in 100 years, we will be looking back at this footage still. I mean, that's what makes it. I mean, you can only categorize it with like the Battle of Bunker Hill, you know, like
Treaty of Versailles,
World War II. I mean, the Declaration of like you lump it in with these big life events but it's because of the context. You're right. Like if it was a backstage rumor, TMZ is reporting that Will Smith may have slapped Chris Rock, but backstage. No. In the ceremony, in front of live audience, home audience, pimp walk on stage, pimp slap one of the greatest actors of our time, pimp slaps one of the greatest comedians of our time.
Yes.
For all to see. I mean, this is exactly what we needed as a country. This is exactly what we needed as a species after everything we've been through. Now, I'm kind of joking, but honestly, like one thing that did come to mind for me was like the post-pandemic insanity I think we're going to deal with.
Exactly.
Everything that's happened over the last 2 years has made us fucking nuts.
Yep.
I feel insane. And I have to remember sometimes to be like, you are going through one of the most insane fucking times in human history. So of course you feel insane. And so now that we are kind of trying to get used to going back to a relatively normal life, or is fearing that our process to going back to a normal life is going to be interrupted again by another variant. We haven't really been interacting socially. I mean, maybe Will Smith is so disconnected from reality that he thought he could just do that. And it wasn't going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah. Well, you touched on, again, we are great minds.
Think alike.
You touched on exactly the same point I was going to say, which is that this pandemic and everything has absolutely made everyone crazy.
Yes.
Everyone is on edge about everything right now. And because of that, I mean, we haven't had a whole lot of social interactions, or as many as we're used to.
Yeah.
And even I think he said, Chris Rock was like, it's so crazy to see everyone here without masks on.
Right.
So here we are, the first Oscars without a mask in a couple years. Mm-hmm. And like people I don't know. It is a very interesting thing. Right. And I feel like that could almost be its own episode. It's just talking about how the pandemic has affected things like this.
Right.
But it all comes down to, man, we've had it. We've had it with everything. Mm-hmm. We've had it with absolutely everything and everyone. We're just like, please, we're fucking done.
Yeah.
And that's just where we're at.
Yeah. Like I think like Will Smith embodied the average person in that moment. Like just really just pushed to the brink. I mean, I think he is like a symbol, a representing symbol for how we all kind of feel right now. I mean, I just feel like he slapped Chris Rock for all of us. And I wouldn't slap Chris Rock, but we all have someone we want to slap in this life because we're so fucking fed up with everything that's been going on. I mean, we all feel that way where we're just like, I can't take any of this anymore. The hand of Will Smith is the hand of America.
Ooh, that's deep. I like that. That's America's hand right
That's
there.
America's hand, just like that's America's ass on Captain America.
Absolutely. But it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, everyone is really just on edge about something. In a weird way, it makes me feel kind of comforted that like a person like Will Smith, who is so strong mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, he can have lapses in judgment. He can have lapses in character and snap and do something like that. That's like, oh shit. Because it makes you go like, yeah, we're all human. We're all, no matter how much work we do on ourselves, no matter how strong we try to stay mentally, we all have a breaking point. We're all human. We can all make these mistakes and fuck up.
Yes.
So in a weird way, it's comforting. It's like, okay, even this top tier star had a moment.
That's so fucking brilliant because that's exactly it. I mean, and that's what sucks about it. And that's what sucks about what other people are. And that's why I'm glad we can use our platform to highlight that because, you know, everyone is trying to hop on the train for their own clout to make their own content about what happened. But they also want to play the game. I don't want to play the game. I don't want to do the judgment call. I don't want to do the moral fucking outrage on either side.
Yeah.
I don't want to do moral outrage against Chris Rock and I don't want to do it against Will Smith. They're two fucking humans. They're not gods.
Right.
They make money. They make, content. They make comedy and movies. They both do that. Whatever. They're still people. Mm-hmm. And of course, Will Smith, he's a fucking human being. Like, come on. I mean, it's the most relatable thing any Hollywood star's done in a fucking while, actually. It's the most like normal thing for both of them, honestly.
Yeah.
Even Chris Rock, the way he reacted, very human reaction. Another reason that I realized this was real was watching Chris Rock just kind of and a class act, but fumbling too over his words in a way that was just like, what the fuck just happened to me? You know,
like you watched it slowly settle in.
Yes,
like mist, like a cloud of mist. Just like he gets slapped, and he's like, okay, that was an act to wait a minute. I just got fucking slapped.
Wait a minute, and the way he I think the biggest tell that it was real for me was when he fumbled the words and he said, we're here to give out a documentary for an Oscar. I mean, we're here out to give an Oscar for a documentary. You can feel how inside his head he is still trying to like process that. And that's just superhuman. Like his brain is having a process like ours do. They're not any different than us. Like they're just couple of dudes, man.
I mean, look how speechless we all are watching this from the comfort of our own homes.
Right.
Processing this on our couches.
Right.
And he's having to process this on stage while still try to finish his monologue.
Yes.
Because he fumbled something else later too. He was like, it's like we like documentaries because they make us feel smart. It's like we watched a whole book. I mean, it's like we read a whole book.
Right.
And you can see he's just like, fuck.
Yes.
He's got a lot going on up there. Looking off stage, like, should I continue? Like, anyone gonna help me here?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what do you do?
And it's just like what the types of things people have been saying are just laughable. Like this whole idea that Chris Rock would press charges. I'm like, okay, Chris Rock is not some, I don't know, he comes from, we've watched Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah.
We know where he comes from. He comes from a little bit of street. He comes from a little bit of hood. He comes from poverty. You think he's going to press charges against Will Smith for slapping him? Chris Rock knows that that's how people handle business in the real world, actually. Like, they're far removed from the real world because they are rich stars.
Yeah.
But Chris Rock was reminded, like, oh, yeah, like, this is what people do. And to tell that Chris Rock, he comes from street, no snitching. You think I wouldn't doubt that the cops may have walked up to Chris Rock and said, "Do you want to press charges?" And he would have said, "For what?" I didn't see anything.
Yeah. What do you mean? They're like this and showing him the YouTube video. I don't know. I don't know nothing about that.
I know nothing about that.
No, you're right. I guarantee that's not the first time Chris Rock has been slapped.
No.
And he's probably been decked a lot worse than that in his life.
Especially in his line of work, which is another topic to bring up, which is the comedians who are kind of like having this weird reaction of like, and I get it. And we've talked about it. Yeah, you can't really tell jokes anymore.
Yeah.
You know, people get really morally outraged about jokes, but there's comedians who are literally trying to wonder if this is going to create a safety issue, like a workplace hazard. And it's like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like first of all, no one's going to see your shows at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second of all, no one gives a shit about what you say. You're not funny enough to even outrage anybody. Like, get out of here. No one gives a fuck. Like, if you're not literally Chris Rock, like Chris Rock, you know, he's good enough that he'll get someone on that.
Oh, for sure.
So it's just, that's pretty laughable. So yeah, I'm pretty sick of the both arguments. Because then there's the argument that is like so appalled by Will Smith. How could he do such a thing? Oh my God. Like, tell me you haven't lived in the real world without telling me you haven't lived in the real world.
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here. People hit people when they're mad. I'm sorry. Judd Apatow, I love Judd Apatow, but he really wanted to say that he could have killed him. Shut the fuck up, you suburban bitch.
Judd Apatow said that?
Judd Apatow said that. Fucking suburban bitch.
Will Smith could have killed him.
Yes.
With that hit.
Yeah. Fucking pussy. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. Fucking, you know, it's just that. And it's, you know, tell me you've never been poor without telling me you've never been poor.
Yeah.
Tell me you grew up rich. Like, you're all just showing yourselves. People hit people. Last week I talked about how someone pulled out a gun in school.
Yeah.
Showed me it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's the world I come from.
Right.
Fuck.
You know, and then you got the cancel culture army. They're getting ready.
Right.
And they're just looking. You know how we talk about meme houses?
Yeah.
I feel like there's cancel houses. They
There's
just sit
cancel
around
houses.
and they're like, all right, what can we, anything, guys, anything. What do we got? What can we cancel for? They're talking about hashtag cancel the Oscars. Like, this had nothing to do with it happened at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would we cancel the Oscars because of this?
It's the whole thing. And I'll tell you this much. The Oscars put themselves into a corner because of all that stuff. So it's like this whole thing about the Oscars, and it's supposed to be diverse, and we're trying to make spaces for BIPOCs or whatever the fuck. And I don't even know what that means, but I guess I fall into that category. Black people of color, I don't know, bisexual people of color, whatever the fuck that acronym means. And, you know, it's like, and that's fine. Like, we need diverse spaces. I mean, that's what would hopefully get us in the industry.
Yeah.
The openness to diversity. But I'm sorry, but that's why Chris Rock isn't going to press charges, because that's, well, where we come from.
Yeah.
We slap a motherfucker sometimes. So ivory tower white people, like, you want to make a diverse space, like, I'm sorry, there might be a little BET awards in here.
And yeah, there's so many sides to it, right? Like, there's people who say he did what he was supposed to do, which was stand up for a woman.
Right.
And then you got people that go, there's no excuse for assault like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's, like I said earlier, every conversation under the sun. At the end of the day, I do feel sad.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, I feel really sad for Will. Was that the best reaction to have on live television in front of millions and millions of people? No.
Right.
Absolutely not. I also think Will is better than that.
Yeah.
100% Will is
For sure.
better than that.
Yes.
Chris Rock is also better than that joke that he told. He could have told one that had a lot more sting to it, for sure. So at the end of the day, it just kind of was a poor execution on things. Like, I think there's a lot of other jokes Will could have punched him over.
Yeah.
And he kind of chose one that was like, I mean, look, yeah, is it not okay to go after someone's autoimmune disease that's causing them to lose hair?
Right.
But then there's conversations with that. It's like, well, he didn't go after the autoimmune disease. He went after like how she looked and whatever, right? All those conversations.
Right.
But anyway, it just makes me feel sad for Will Smith because he's gone through a fuck ton. The straw broke the camel's back. He reacted. He's a human.
He's a human.
Chris Rock took it like a champ. Was a class act, a recovery like I've never seen in my life.
Yeah.
That was incredible. So mad props to him. I don't know that anyone could have done that better, truthfully.
Because you know that motherfucker hurt.
Oh, yeah.
You know that didn't feel. Will Smith is not a weak man.
Have you been outside the Chinese theater in Hollywood? Will Smith has his feet and his hands imprinted in the ground.
You're right.
That's a big fucking hand if anyone's ever been there and seen it.
You're right.
That thing coming 100 miles an hour, because it was quick. That was like ninja slice.
Yes.
And that big ass Will Smith hand hitting you across the face is going to sting, even if he pulled it a little bit, right? Because he kind of leaned back on the slap.
Yeah.
Even if he pulled it a little bit, it's going to hurt. It's an open hand slap.
Yep.
Which some are saying was even more disrespectful than if he had just punched him.
Well, that's what, that was not on accident.
No.
Will Smith knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was doing. So, yeah, no, it was more disrespectful. 100%.
Yeah. So wild. And then he wins. Right. Like almost right after that, he wins Best Actor.
And I know we're saying, but there's a part of me also that says that night's going to be remembered for the slap.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also going to be remembered as the most gangster move in the world to slap a man on stage and then to win Best Actor. I mean, it's amazing.
And there's never been a better portrayal of Best Actor when in a matter of minutes he went from laughing to anger to tears to absolutely composed.
Yes.
That's acting.
I kind of wish he doubled down. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie, because there's all this stuff about him tearfully apologizing to the Academy. And I kind of wish he is better than that.
Yeah.
And I know that's not who he wants to be. There's a part of me that just wishes he walked up to the Academy with his Oscar and just said, I dare you.
Yeah, right.
I dare you.
Mm-hmm.
And then just walked away.
Yes, because like we mentioned earlier, there's that topic of taking away his Oscar.
Oh, God.
Which to me, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, what is that going to solve?
Right.
It's not gonna unslap Chris Rock.
Right.
It's not gonna delete the video off of every internet platform and news outlet.
Right.
It's not gonna change the course of history. I don't know what kind of a punishment that would be. It'd be because this man, in my opinion, has earned his Oscar. He has more than earned his Oscar. And, Will Smith made it clear on stage it wasn't about an award.
Yeah.
It's more than this physical award that he got. Right. So I think you take his Oscar away, it doesn't matter to him. He made his presence known with the movie that he did, the impact that it had, and how he's been able to defend the ones he loves.
Yeah.
Even, not only just from his family, but from his co-stars in the movie.
Right.
So you want to take away his Oscar, but I don't know what that's going to do.
And they won't because it's hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious, but it's like, yeah, okay, you're trying to create a more diverse space. You're going to take a black man's Oscar away?
Right.
Like, dare you?
His first one, by the way.
His first one, right? Because we're finally being inclusive. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because you're right. It's like they know, because you're right. The cancel culture farms, like the meme farms, they're begging them to take his Oscar away so we can really cancel the Oscars, which I wouldn't even give two shits about. It's the Independent Spirit Awards are the award show that actually means something, I believe.
Okay.
But whatever. The Oscars, too, are wonderful. But it's just like, they're not going to take a black man's first Oscar away. Mm-mm. And they know what would happen. They know what they've created. They've also kind of, and they've had to, because what do you do when your culture has been fundamentally racist and sexist forever.
Yeah.
It's like you have to really come back around and just be like, yeah, man, like we are only letting black people and gay people win awards now, because of how, and women, because of what we've done. It's like, well, that's what you guys get when you're super racist and sexist and you make Judy Garland get abortions and as a teenager.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah.
That's Hollywood, But based on what I read, it sounded like in the after party, Will Smith was just in his vibe and dancing to his own songs and just like having a good old time. I wonder if they actually squashed it or if it's going to be a saga continues.
I feel like they need a breather.
They totally need a breather.
They need a breather. Go to different after parties. There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
And just like, don't talk to any news outlets. Don't go on any shows.
Right.
And talk about it. Which sucks because that like Jimmy Kimmel always does his post-Oscars thing and every winner goes on the show and Jimmy Fallon's going to slap his desk and laugh like he always does.
God.
But like, I think the smart thing to do is to really just not talk about it to anybody right now. It's so fresh. Everyone else in the world is going to talk about it enough for you, including us. We're part of the problem.
They need to let this one blow over.
Absolutely.
Do the old Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Just get out of town for a little bit.
Yeah. Skip Dodge.
Yeah. Let it blow over. And that's the thing. And that's kind of the funny point I was thinking of is like, yeah, I mean, I know it's historic. We're never going to forget it, but 72 hours, we'll be on to something else.
I mean, that's the rate at which wild events happen nowadays, right?
And that's like on the high side of retention for current events. Like 72 hours, that's that's huge.
Yeah.
Because like it's often 12 to 24 hours before people don't give a fuck about anything anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that fast.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let it blow over. Go pull a Jared Leto and like disconnect and go off somewhere.
Just do the Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Morbius. Go make Morbius.
Go make
Yeah.
Go make Morbius. Go make the Matrix movie that you were supposed to make.
Yeah.
And declined for Wild Wild West instead.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Yeah, man. I guess I'm grateful. I'm great. You're right. The content gods blessed us. I am grateful. I stand by. I think we needed this. I think we needed to remind ourselves who we are.
Yes.
We love drama. We love the stars.
Yep.
And we love seeing people get hit. We love all those things very, very much. And I think we lost who we were. We were trying to be these good people.
Yeah.
We were trying to be friendly and nice. We were maybe even on the cusp of some sort of like, equality and unity and let's love each other. And that's, I don't know if we're there yet. I think we needed to remind ourselves that we love rich people being dramatic, and we love a good hit. We love a good smack in the face, baby, especially an unconventional one.
Yeah. I just hope that this doesn't become another like divisional thing.
Yeah.
Where people are like, someone backs Will, someone backs Chris, and now these two people are not friends anymore because they chose opposite sides. Like that's the last thing we need right now is like more family and friends fighting over some irrelevant dumb shit that celebrities did on stage. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we don't need any more division here.
It's going to be like, what were some of the most divisive events in history of your time? And it's going to be like, well, the vaccine and Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just tore families apart.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we are, though. It feels like.
It is.
It's crazy.
You're right. I mean, it's the whole thing. It's everything is creating. It's like fucking, it all started with Team Edward and Team Jacob.
Yeah.
And now we got vaxxed, unvaxxed, Will Smith, Chris Rock. I mean, no one can get along.
No.
It's insane.
I mean, like, Will Smith's hands are immortalized in 2 places: outside the Chinese theater and on Chris Rock's face.
Oh, man. Can't wait for that Chris Rock special. It'll
It's going to be great. I doubt he'll talk about any of this.
Well, that's the thing is we're saying the content God's blessed us. Chris Rock said the same thing.
No, he's set, man.
He's like, oh, thank you, God.
Yeah.
He's like, I was having trouble writing material. Now, here we go.
Here we go. He is set, man.
Everyone's just trying to get a bag.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Even Will.
We're all just helping.
Well, that's what's funny. Everyone's trying to get a bag, and Will Smith, he's past that now. He's just trying to get some emotional security, and it's
hard to come by, Will. It is hard to come by out here.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Not much of that laying around.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you got to dig for it. Absolutely.
You got to dig, baby. You got to dig.
So, wow. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, too, what comes out this week.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there might be a follow-up to this. Who knows?
Yeah. I think we're going to need to keep our ear to the ground on this one. And we're going to need to make sure that by the end of this week, if there's any developments, I think we'll be coming back here to record another, not even a part 2, but we'll definitely have to at least touch up on it. Unless more shit comes out that's crazy, then yeah, part 2, absolutely.
Oh, anything is possible. Anything's on the table nowadays.
Anything's on the table. I mean, Will Smith could OJ Simpson, Chris Rock, and Jada Pinkett Smith.
I mean, dude, wouldn't be the first thing Red Band has predicted.
It wouldn't be the first thing. I'll put it, I'm not going to take this prediction because I heard it on a different podcast, but I will say if they're in an open relationship, I mean, the chances that Chris Rock may have had Jada's goodies at one point.
Hey. Yikes.
So I'm predicting a potential OJ Simpson situation. We're going to have Will Smith bludgeoning Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett Smith. Willow's going to walk in. She's going to swing her hair back and forth, and it's going to helicopter her out of there. She will be a witness on the stand. And Jaden, he'll probably be doing DMT in the other room. He won't know one thing from the next.
That's a pretty accurate description. No. That's a good prediction, and we're going to put in the prediction jar. Yeah. And sit on that for a week.
Let's see what happens. In
the meantime, we got to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Alana. She was also our first guest on the podcast.
Yes.
So she texted me this morning, or when you're hearing this, the morning after.
Yeah.
And just said, you guys are going to talk about this, right? And you're damn right. We got on this.
And you're damn right. And she's calling it. She said, I read this was a publicity stunt. She commented that on my Facebook post about this. I reposted on Facebook about the story, and I said the earth is healing. So that was my take on it. And Alana, she says I read that this was a publicity stunt. So maybe that's what'll come out.
Yeah, that it was just something to fuel his acceptance speech.
Yeah.
Something to fuel. It all worked out really well. Like I said, he's smart and can think on his feet, but that was all really convenient for his acceptance speech about what he was trying to say. So about defending family and about what the movie stood for. So that all worked.
And if it is, I'm not going to be upset about it.
No, I mean, if it's a publicity stunt, bravo, because Chris Rock legitimately took a hand to the face for the publicity. He did it for the Vine.
He did it for the motherfucking Vine. He's committed.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll keep our ears to the ground. And in the meantime, check out our episode later this week where we talk the Batman.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That'll be a goodie.
We talk about the new Joker. We talk about the Batman. We talk about everything in it, the action scenes, the cinema. Yeah. So be sure to tune into that. And thanks for joining us on our first Red Band Red Alert. Hot news, hot off the press.
Hot off the press, baby.
Shout out Will, shout out Chris Rock.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program. We hope you enjoyed the show.